I wholeheartedly believe that Crowley in Good Omens used to be the Archangel Raphael, and because I read too much, I have evidence to back it up. Soon as the Good Omens 3rd release date was announced, I realized I had to make a video with my theory, so hopefully in a few months I can go, I was right, and then I can feel really good about myself. However, you have to bear in mind that I was raised non-religious, and I'm not deeply familiar with any of the texts mentioned in the reference books that I consulted. I tried reading Paradise Lost a few months ago, and within 5 pages, it was already Paradise. I lost the plot. So if you think something doesn't seem like a source that's necessarily applicable to the Good Omens canon, that's an ishme and not an issue. First point, where is Raphael? I never grew up knowing the angels, and even I think of Raphael when I think of most of the main angels. According to most sources, there are about 7 archangels, and in almost every interpretation of them, Raphael is one of them. Second point, the symbols associated with Raphael as an angel. He's most commonly associated with the sun and the planet Mercury, as in Freddie Mercury. He's also described as the angel of humanity and faith. He's called sociable, the angel charged with healing the earth, who's often depicted carrying a staff. Healing and the staff bring to my mind the staff of Asclepius with a snake twined around it. That's Greek myth, not necessarily biblical, but it's still a cultural association that we have with healing. Since Crowley's a snake demon, it would make sense that he was once an angel of healing. And if you want to be sentimental, Raphael is also the patron of finding one's spouse. Like, vavoom. Also, like I said, Raphael is the earth guy of the angels. He loves humanity. One text says that Raphael is charged to heal the earth, and through him, the earth furnishes an abode for man. Crowley is an optimist. Raphael is the angel of faith. The ineffable plan could very well be that he's meant to protect humanity, regardless of whether he's an angel or a demon. That's certainly aligned with everything we know about his character. In a lot of art of him, Raphael is also shown just kind of hanging around with humans on Earth, which is exactly what Crowley's been up to. Third point, in some texts he's been called a guide in hell, and he's been depicted on some off-white diagrams as a terrestrial demon with a beast-like form. Like a snake? I don't know the exact context for the hell guide part, but the impression that I get is that he's somewhat associated somewhere with helping people who've gone to hell, like, find their way through, like a benevolent helper guy, like a psychopomp sort of guy. I don't know. If I'm wrong about this, please correct me. When I looked into it, all I found was Quora with a bunch of upset old people talking incoherently about blasphemy, so I don't really know what's going on. However, when old people tell you that something is blasphemy, that probably just means you need more research. And I did find these diagrams, which included these winged beasts representing the angels, including a serpent-like creature for Raphael. And in another academic article, Raphael is associated with the beast form of a serpent. All in relation to a 2nd century Christian Gnostic sect called the Ophites, who believed that the serpent was a symbol of divine knowledge who was inherently good. Grab it. Fourth point, both Pratchett and Gaiman have mentioned appreciating the reference book Brewer's Dictionary of Phrase and Fable, which I have right here because I like it, which is a great book with lots of bits of random folklore and etymology. Under the entry for Raphael, it cites a poem. I am the angel of the sun, whose flaming wheels began to run, when God Almighty's breath said to the darkness and the night, let there be light, and there was light. I bring the gift of faith. Flaming wheels beginning to run? Could those flaming wheels be reinterpreted as those of a Bentley, perhaps? Likewise, the idea of let there be light, Crowley is shown literally like kickstarting the cosmos. We know Pratchett and Gaiman almost certainly read this, so I don't think my reading of it is completely out of the blue. Fifth point, and just a small one before I get to the really big important one. In one Raphael story, Moses pleads that please God, heal her, which is extremely similar to what Crowley mutters when Aziraphale is miracling Anathema's bike. Another little detail is that Raphael is also sometimes called Israfel, which is the name of the angel in Islam assigned to signal the Day of Judgment, which in Christianity would be the second coming of Jesus. Israfel also sounds very similar to Aziraphale, which could maybe be a coincidence, I don't know. Sixth point, and this is the big one. If he was Raphael, what happened? We know that Crowley was once very high up in heaven, high up enough to speak to God and create the stars, that he only fell for asking questions. This is actually described in one of the texts. It says that angels were beginning to question God, not even like refusing God or like doing anything demonic or crazy, just asking, hey, what's the point of this, sort of type questions. They got incinerated, so when Raphael heard about this, he warned all the angels under his troop to, hey, be careful, don't ask any questions, just go along with whatever God says, and then he successfully saves them from the same fate. My theory is that Crowley is Raphael in classic Good Omens fashion, asks questions anyway. We have all of the iconic archangels except for Raphael, because this version of Raphael would not keep his mouth shut. I don't know if Crowley completely remembers all of this, or if he just keeps it compartmentalized, but it's evident that regardless, he was just someone who cared too much and thought too much and got punished for it. Crowley was Raphael. I will die on this hill. If you liked my theory, though, then share it around. Check out my other videos, which are more straightforward literary analysis. I'm currently analyzing how disability is depicted in The Secret Garden, and we'll post that video essay eventually. I'm in the middle of researching the author's life and belief system, and I had 2 essays to write for class, so I was quite busy. So yes, I hope that you agree with me. If you know more about any of these texts that I've mentioned, please mention them in the comments, because I feel like I'm underinformed.